Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's MobileCause webinar, How to Stream Your Virtual Fundraising Event, Tech Tools and Tips. We've been talking a lot about virtual fundraising events these past few months, and one question that keeps coming up is how to get your streaming technology set up. Well, we hear you. And so today we're going to spell it all out for you, clear and simple, and offer you uncomplicated tech solutions for virtual events. Now, today we have a guest from a small nonprofit who was once where you may be right now with no streaming experience or knowledge. Now, he's going to share how he researched, implemented, and maximized the right tech solutions for their successful virtual day of giving, allowing them to raise more for their cause. Then we'll share how you can do the same for your own virtual event. Now, before we get started, please know we welcome your participation and are here to answer your questions. So please submit them into the question box on your GoToWebinar control panel. And we have fundraising experts behind the scenes to answer questions during the webinar. And at the end, we'll also have an open Q&A session with our presenters for any additional questions. Now, we hope you'll enjoy today's presentation, and as a quick reminder, we will be sending out the recording and the slides to all our registrants afterwards. Now, today's webinar is presented by MobileCause, and MobileCause understands the everyday challenges nonprofits face, constantly confronted with limited resources, yet still expected to expand your impact. You shouldn't have to face these challenges alone, and that's why MobileCause offers more than comprehensive fundraising software. We also provide one-on-one strategy from dedicated fundraising specialists and have the industry's best support team ready to provide assistance 24/7. At MobileCause, we're just as committed to your cause as you are, and together we can grow your nonprofit like never before. Now, let me introduce you to our terrific presenters. Jason Sisk is from El Paso, Texas, and serves as the annual giving coordinator at the Delta Chi Educational Foundation. His focus is on developing annual and recurring gifts for DCEF that promote academic achievement through the recognition and rewarding of scholarship monies, support leadership, and training programs, and more. Gayasido is the Director of Product Management with MobileCause. He has over 10 years experience developing and refining successful products that deliver exceptional user experiences across devices. He has spent the last 3.5 years at MobileCause, and his work has enabled hundreds of MobileCause customers to successfully accelerate and increase both their fundraising and their engagement efforts. Now, I'm Scott Couchman, the training manager at MobileCause, and today we have a great agenda for you, full of firsthand insights, helpful takeaways, and expert strategies. First, we'll hear from Jason on how his nonprofit found and used the right tech solutions for their virtual fundraising event. And then we'll take a look at various tech and streaming setups that will work for any type of virtual fundraiser, and then take an in-depth look at the tech tools that help increase giving and engagement. All right, now before we begin discussing how to stream your virtual fundraising event, we do have a quick poll for you. So with that, let me open up the poll. This usually takes a couple of seconds to launch, so it may show up here. So with that, as it's launching here, the question is, have you hosted a virtual fundraising event in 2020? And the choices are yes, and we rocked the tech. Yes, and we need to get better with the tech. No, we are planning one and confident in the tech. No, we're planning one but unsure of the tech. And no, hoping we don't need to. So looks like we're getting some answers coming in. If at this point you're still having problems, feel free to go ahead and put an answer into the chat. But looks like it is up and running here. All right, getting a lot of good response. All right, we'll give it another about 10 seconds here. All right, looks like we're slowing down, so let me go ahead and close that poll. Let's take a look at those results. Kind of interesting to see. The majority of you, vast majority, is no, we're planning one, but unsure of the tech. So, this is going to be a great opportunity for you. And for the other traces in here, very, very low, obviously, interestingly enough. And interesting to see where you are all at or not when holding virtual fundraising events and, the tech involved. So, good news. Whatever your plans are for current or future virtual events, and whatever your comfort level is with streaming technology, our webinar today will have some truly helpful tips and ideas for you. So, let's dive into it here. So, join me in welcoming Jason Sisk to start us off by sharing his experience with the Delta Chi Education Foundation's annual Founders Day of Giving. Let me give you control, Jason. All right, you should have control now, so over to you.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to join you today. I never thought that I would be excited to share my knowledge and information on video. A couple years ago, when I started in this position, I just didn't. I was afraid of it. I was not sure of how it works and not sure of not sure of what to do and where to start. So. The Delta Chi Educational Foundation, we raise money. Oops, sorry, went one too far there. We raise money for scholarships and leadership development training to benefit the Delta Chi fraternity and its members. So we do a lot of all different types of fundraising, from calls to print to now video and all types of social media. So we found that all channel marketing is the best way to go for us, and hopefully this will help you guys advance some of what your thoughts are surrounding video. Thought it was very interesting to see that most were just want to do something online, want to do a virtual event, but we're unsure of where to start on tech. So hopefully some of my experience will help out. Scott, I'm having a little delay on there. Oh, here we go. So as I kind of mentioned, I was very afraid of video. I was very afraid to go live primarily. Recording videos was not as big a deal. You do things of that nature by on Skype and that kind of thing. It felt a little easier when you're one-on-one, but when you're going live and there's any number of people watching you, and as you can see, this is a screenshot from one of my first, and I think it's a perfect picture to show that I didn't really know what I was doing and realized that you need to be cognizant of smiling throughout video. Didn't have that down to begin with, as you can see. I didn't know any of the tools. I used Google and YouTube to research virtually everything that I came up with. I was not, had no idea where to start. So you just ask Google a bunch of questions and start narrowing down from there is basically what I did. So our annual Founders Day of Giving is actually 2019 was our second year of doing that. We actually did that in 2018 as well. We did a number of things with the crowdfunding pages of Mobile Causes system, and so you can see we have multiple chapters in the fraternity. So we actually separated out by chapters and made it sort of a competition to raise money, and chapters would raise money through their own pages. So we did 1,890 minutes of giving because our fraternity was founded in 1890, so it was kind of an easy number to use, and it helped to raise money for our general fund, which in turn supports leadership development training and scholarships and things of that nature. So the situation we've run into is we had gone live through Facebook. We had not done any YouTube live. This is back in 2017 when we started. We actually did a campaign on Facebook Live basically in 2017, and we were able to reach our goal, our modest goal, with a matching gift of, we raised $35,000 and had a $25,000 matching gift. We wanted more from that. We wanted to be able to have more people on screen. We wanted to be able to have more people interacting with us. And Facebook is, as you're probably aware, if you've started looking at the system, it's very easy to go live. So if it's just you sitting in your in your chair and you want to go live and have your face on the screen, it's very easy to kind of set that up. You type a message like we did here. You hit the go live button, and then there's your face on your Facebook page that people can watch. We decided that we wanted to do more with that. We wanted to have more option, more functionality, and so one of the things we wanted to do was have more people on screen. You can see myself there on the left, and my partner in crime over here at the foundation, our director of development, Peter Lane, is on the right there. And we wanted to be able to have us both on the screen at the same time. We wanted to be able to interact with each other, as well as interact with the audience that's watching, and not just have pre-recorded options. So we just felt like we needed more than Facebook could offer. And so we wanted to be able to have some production values and that type of thing in our video. We didn't want to just have this 2 people on the screen with a black bar around it. And this was kind of what we were getting by doing our Facebook lives. There is a way to do it, but it's a little bit not great. So we decided we wanted some more from that. So what we did was we started researching ways to do video. But first, we needed to have content to fill those live videos. So as you can see, for our day of giving, we actually had a full schedule of events that we were going live on each and every one of these with a different topic. So we would have interviews. We had tours of the campus. We were actually at Cornell University. We had a tour of our chapter house at Cornell. We had live sessions. We did some small giveaways. We did updates on progress. Those live sessions were were not necessarily scheduled. We had some that we just kind of decided, let's still go live on Facebook and just see if we can get some of our followers to stick with us and just kind of check in at random. And on all of these pages and all of these things, we made sure to have links to be able to make gifts during our day of giving. So we had some chapter challenges in which the winning, the chapters that raised the most money would get prizes. We had matching gifts from a couple of our wonderful insider type supporters. Some of our most loyal supporters gave us matching gifts for that. So we were able to do a lot of that type of thing. We drove everyone to our live sessions by using email, texts through MobileCause, which is fantastic. If you haven't talked to MobileCause about texting, please do. It's a fantastic tool that they have. And we just decided that the way to do it was to push everyone to the same place, or at least one of a couple different places. And so by doing that, we decided, what can we use to make this happen? We've decided that this is what we want to do, but how can we do it? We looked at Facebook. We actually did some Facebook because it was just kind of the easiest to do a quick live session if we wanted to give an update, or unmuted. A number of people were just following us only through Facebook anyway. We had researched a number of other options that were paid options and free options to get a little bit more production value. I started using OBS. It's called Open Broadcasting Software. It is free. It's recording, and you can go live using it. There was not a lot of functionality with it. So a lot of the production values that I've seen on people's videos and that I had seen others do online, where they have names on there and logos, it was a little bit lacking for what I was looking for. You can go live with it, and you can use it with combination of other softwares to go live on more than one platform. So example, Facebook and YouTube. But it is, like I said, the functionality was lacking. So we wanted to kind of see what else was out there. And that's where I came across a number of different options that all fit what I was looking for specifically. So I chose to use a product called, and I continue to use a product called Ecamm Live. It's a fantastic program that gives you a lot of production value. So as you can see here on the right on the top, you've got my name, you've got Peter Lane, you've got our logo on the screen. This is on there while we're live. So things like this are very good functionality that I was looking forward to. I can also have the functionality to switch between camera views. So for example, if I had 5 or 6 people on a video at once, with Ecamm Live, I can focus on just one person, and then I can put it as more of like a Brady Bunch style view where you have all 4 or 5 on the screen at the same time. And I can have those labels and different things to do there. And so it's fantastic, and it works with live streaming. You can choose to stream to just one platform. So you can choose to just stream to YouTube or Facebook. It does only work with Mac in this particular case, but I know there are other similar programs out there that do this type of thing. So you just kind of have to find one that fits for what you're looking for. What I really liked about the program Ecamm Live is that it takes video from Skype. So all of your volunteers that you're using, all of your employees and that type of thing, everyone doesn't have to have Ecamm Live. They just download the free version of Skype. Ecamm Live collects all the videos when you get on a video call from Skype and puts it all together to where you can set up these quote unquote scenes that have the different video views and that type of thing. As far as going to multiple platforms, we used a company called Restream. The reason I used Restream was specifically that they worked with Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live was the software that I liked and that I wanted, and they worked with Restream, which had read about in a lot of my research and I was comfortable with. And so Ecamm sends a single signal to Restream. Restream then sends it out to Facebook and YouTube and wherever you want that to go to. And you can have it even just on your website. In our case, we were able to have the video on our Day of Giving page. As you can see, this was another campaign we did, and we did quite a bit of video there. So the tech suite that we used was Ecamm Live and Restream together. Skype, of course, is what everyone will use to get on the call, and then Ecamm Live is the production software. So we used, as we mentioned before, we used the crowdfunding or peer-to-peer page through Mobile Cause to do our Day of Giving. Leah, our fantastic digital marketing service person from Mobile Cause, was fantastic, and she helped us get video up, the live video up directly on our peer-to-peer page. And so we tried to really drive all of our traffic to that page. So what we did was we actually created a URL, a web address that was from our website, deltachi.org/foundersday was what we picked. And that was an automatic redirect to our Founders Day of Giving page. And each chapter, of course, had their own fundraising page that they could go to and donate directly through their chapter and kind of raise money for that chapter challenge. And each chapter, each fundraiser, the Mobile Cause also uses fundraisers. So if you have individuals, they each have their own dedicated text to donate keywords. So if people want to text in, they can text a message, they get a reply, hit that link, and it takes them right to the giving page. It's absolutely fantastic the way it works. Or we can just have them go to this general page and they can make a donation here. So having the video directly on the peer-to-peer page was phenomenal and was absolutely paramount to our success. Having to send people from a Facebook page to a website, just every click you do just means there's less and less likelihood that they're going to make a donation. So the fewer clicks that someone has to make, the better. And so we really tried to drive them directly to this URL, to get directly to the peer-to-peer fundraising page instead of watching on Facebook or YouTube and then coming back to the donation page. So basically, the solution for us was using Skype to send the signal to Ecamm Live, using Ecamm Live to send a signal to Restream, which then breaks the signal up and sends it to Facebook, YouTube, and we even had a YouTube link on our peer-to-peer page, and that allowed them to donate on the same page that they were watching us live. It was really, really a fantastically put together event. So the key takeaways for me that I'd like you all to be aware of is that going live does not have to mean that you're testing things and you're practicing with the whole world watching. Almost all of these softwares will have a recording function or the ability to go live in a private session. For example, Facebook, you can go live on your page, but you can also go live just to yourself or just to one other person. So it's really easy to just kind of practice and get comfortable with the technology. And what I really liked about it, that I was, I'm sorry to say I was actually surprised by this, but everyone is completely understanding that you're being raw, you're being honest, you're being open, and you're trying something new, and everybody completely understands that this is new technology to you. Your followers that are already with you are going to understand that you're going to make mistakes. The easy thing to do is when you misspeak, you say, oh, sorry, messed that up, or oh gosh, just have a little chuckle at yourself and move on. And people completely understand that when you're live. Obviously, with recorded videos and things like that, they may expect a little bit of a higher production value potentially. I don't even know that that's necessarily as true anymore, depending on what your topic is. If people are passionate about what you do, which we know all of our followers are, then they'll understand that technology has a learning curve, and they will understand that you aren't an expert and you shouldn't have to be. You'll get better at it. As you can see, the funny faces I was making on the first one compared to now is like night and day. I was very afraid of it, but really just kind of getting in and doing it is the way to get better at it. Find something that works for you. Find software that fits what you're trying to do. There's a lot of it out there, and what works for me may not be the best for you. This tech suite that I had works for me, and I really enjoy it. And there's even more and more functionality that I have not even started using yet, that I'm still learning and still working on. So there's always room to learn. You know, a lot of us are comfortable talking in front of other people as fundraisers. We're talking in one-on-one situations or standing up on a stage addressing 50 or 100 people. But somehow when we're going to go on video and talk to nothing but the light on our screen, we get nervous about it. So don't. It's pretty simple. Just try it. Just give it a shot. Start with something free. Start with something cheap. Ecamm and Restream costs me a total of maybe $40 to $50 per month. You can cut it off and restart it whenever you need to. It's not a huge undertaking, very inexpensive. So give it a try. So that's what I have for you all today. Scott, I will hand that back over to you, and I'm looking forward to any questions that anyone might have that we can answer at the end of the call.
All right, thank you, Jason, for really all your helpful insights on finding the right tech for your event and hosting a successful virtual fundraiser. Now, as a quick reminder, if you have any questions, you can submit them into the question box on your control panel as we go along, and we will have we do have people answering questions right now, but we also will have the Q&A session at the end. So with that, now let's hear from Guy Aceto on how to stream your virtual event, tech tools and tips. Guy, over to you. All right, give me a sec, Guy. Looks like you're on mute here. Let me unmute you. There you go, Guy.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Scott. Hey, everyone. My name is Guy, Director of Product Mobile Cause. As Scott introduced me, I'm very excited to be here today and talking with you and sharing some of my knowledge. I think, there's great stuff in Jason, and it will tie really well into things I'm going to talk about. But I'm always excited to see how our customers are able to achieve and surpass their goals using our product, and it's really exciting. Thank you, Jason, so much for sharing that experience. And I think, by the way, that the thing is, Jason's experience and journey that he talked about, he was afraid, unsure, didn't know where to start, is really not that uncommon. And even evidently by the survey that was just done here with this audience, this fantastic audience, 70% almost said that they're unsure of it. And so speaking with many customers and prospects, it's really evident there is definitely some vagueness and hesitation on what tools and technology to use to live stream and how they work together. I like to think about it as like as a puzzle, right? How there's different pieces that need to connect together to form this one coherent picture. And today, as we go along, I'll do my best to demystify the technology and tools that can help you power your next virtual event. Now, the good news is, and I want to make sure you guys are not anxious. The good news is really the technology has come a long way, and today it's more simple and powerful than ever before to use it. And there are a lot of great free and low-cost options out there, as you heard by Jason. We'll talk about. We'll give you guys some examples, but I do encourage you, by the way, to do your own research and find the things that works best for you and for your budget. Now, in fact, by the way, this is funny. It is so easy to live stream today that I just read this funny story on how some people were live streaming themselves while breaking into a house. Now, of course, I'm not encouraging you to break the law and stream it, but I do wanted to tell the story to showcase how easily it can be done today. And if they can do it in this high-stress scenario, all of you can definitely do it very well. So in the next kind of 20 minutes or so, we'll walk through the different tech options available, from streaming a very simple event. Could be just one person, the CEO or a sponsor, sitting at home and talking to the audience while encouraging them to support and give to the cause, to a very complex scenario where there's a host in one state, there's an entertainment piece it's going to be done live in a different state, and there's a pre-recorded video with slideshows, and to wrap it all up, there's a live auction piece to it. Now, I'm not making this up. This is a real thing that our customers are doing and we're able to do very effectively. So we'll talk about from simple to more complex and what you need for those. And before we dive into those tech tools, where we'll ID the various puzzle pieces, if you like, and how to connect them together, I just want to go quickly over, set the stage and discuss the streaming options available to you. So when you're thinking about live streaming or streaming a virtual event, there are really three options that you can do. There's the live stream, where it's live, it's in the moment, you have the ability to interact and engage the audience real time. However, of course, there's the downside where there's less control over, and there's a lot more element of surprise, where live events, you've seen those in many cases where something unexpected happens live event. But I think it's a lot more authentic and the audience might connect better. There's the pre-recorded version we're seeing where nonprofits use some production company or video production tools to create a pre-recorded video with everything in it, and they stream that as it's live. Now, this is a lot more controlled, and you can be a lot more high production value, but it doesn't have this real-time aspect to it that you need to think about. And obviously, there's the hybrid approach where you have some elements that are live stream and some elements that are pre-recorded, and you just transition between them as the show goes on, in a sense. And there's a more moving parts to it, so you need someone that's comfortable managing that. And by the way, I think it's really important to highlight there is no one right approach here. We've seen customers do any one of those three: the live stream, only pre-recorded, and a hybrid model, and they were all very successful. It's just depending on what you're trying to do, your comfort level, and what fits best for your organization. So now with that in mind, let's just jump into the technology pieces that are there. Let me see if this works. All right, I clicked one too many. All right, so when we talk about the big picture and the different pieces of the puzzle, there are really four pieces. And by the way, you don't need all of them, but I just want to highlight all of them so you have this mental picture in your head of how they connect and the different options. So the four pieces are the video sources, the streaming software, the streaming platform, and the mobile cause event page. Video source is anything that anything that you want to showcase during the live event. It could be a webcam is a video source, a recorded video is a source, a Zoom or Skype, as you heard by Jason, is a source. A presentation you're running on your computer is a source. So all those are the video sources, and anything that you want to present on screen is a video source. Now, the streaming software is what Jason was talking about, right? Where you can think about it as kind of almost as a mini broadcast center or a mini control center for your streaming service, streaming event, where you're able to actually increase production value because it allows you more control. For example, it gives you the opportunity to showcase overlays on top of the video, and you can think about logos and titles and names. You know, when you're looking at a news broadcast, there's always they showcase who's speaking, for example. Those are what you consider an overlay. They also allow you to change different sources and toggle those different sources, or even combine them together on screen, right? So you can have a presenter talking on the left-hand side, and then the presentation slides on the right-hand side, and that's another way of doing those. And that's what the streaming software allows you. And the last thing it allows you is to broadcast to multiple streaming platforms at once, if that's really what you need. There are different various by the way, there are a lot of great streaming software out there, and you can find those that combine different things. For example, in Jason's case, he's talking about Ecamm and Restream together, but there are tools that can do both of the things he was looking for in one tool. But again, it's what you're comfortable with and your budget and your technical chops that you have. So that's the streaming software piece. The streaming platform are those things that take the stream, the one stream, right? Like if you think about this, the live stream is kind of the main water pipe, and then it allows you to broadcast it to multiple viewers and split the water across multiple homes in a sense, right? So the streaming platform examples are Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, and there's others there as well. There's Twitch, which is dedicated for gamers. But it's a streaming platform as well. And last but not least is the MobileCause event page. Now, as you heard from Jason, you know, the streaming platforms allows you to broadcast it out, but the thing is they're really optimized for engagement, right? The goal of the streaming platforms is to keep you as long as possible on their site, but it's not optimized for giving. And it's not optimized for events, and definitely not optimized for virtual fundraising events that the nonprofits need. And so the MobileCause event page allows you to take one of those, the stream from one of the streaming platforms, embed it on the MobileCause event page, and share that event page with your audience. Now you can add a lot of information around the event, or who are the speakers. You can talk about the different giving levels. You can allow them to give in the moment and showcase the progress through a progress bar, a live progress bar, and so on. And so there's a lot of things. This is kind of creating this holistic and dedicated experience for your audience that you might not be able to get from just using a streaming platform. So those are the four pieces to the puzzle that you can connect together. And let's dive into real examples of how you can do that from, you know, a very simple scenario to more complex ones. So let's just dive into that. And perfect. The most simple scenario you can think about is you have one source, you know, it's your mobile phone or your computer, laptop's webcam, or it could be the Zoom with a lot of talking heads together, you know, multiple panelists at the same time, and you select one of those sources, and you connect that to YouTube or Facebook or Vimeo, which are, by the way, are those are the most known and biggest streaming platforms out there today. Like I said, there's others as well that are paid and you can use them, but MobileCause recommend because they're free. You know, even though Vimeo has a paid tiered, YouTube and Facebook are very are free to use, and with very good support for large scale streaming. So you select one of those. I personally prefer YouTube the most, but again, it's what's best for you and your nonprofit. So you take the video source, your laptop webcam, and you tell the streaming platform that's what you want to broadcast out, and you take that YouTube link and you put it on the MobileCause event page and you share that with your audience before the event. And that's it. That's the most simple scenario you can think about setting up a live stream event. And that's all you need, right? You need some digital device with a webcam, obviously Wi-Fi and internet connectivity, an account on YouTube or Facebook or Vimeo, and the MobileCause event page we talked about. So those are the baseline scenario. And we've seen people do this where, like I said before, the CEO of the nonprofit sits at home on his couch or on her couch, and they use the laptop to stream and connect to Facebook Live, and it works very well. And we've seen people do this very effectively and successfully. So you don't need more than that to get started. However, as you go along, or maybe you have more needs and you want to do something more complex, then you might think about something like the following. See, where you have one source, like we talked about before. Again, it could be your webcam, your mobile phone, or a pre-recorded video, and you want to broadcast it out to multiple platforms because you have different audience and you want to go wide as possible. And you say, like you heard, by the way, some nonprofits, they have YouTube pages where they do a lot of videos, and that's their main social presence. There are nonprofits that have Facebook as their main social presence, and there are a lot of nonprofits that do multiple social accounts. And so they feel like they want to broadcast to all of those and reach as much of their audience around the country and the world at the same time. And that's why they decided they want to broadcast to multiple platforms at the same time. And then, and in order to do that, by the way, you need the streaming software. So we talked about Restream. You heard from Jason, that works very well. You can use BeLive or StreamYard. There are also good and very cheap alternatives and low cost with free tier as well to as a streaming software. I just important to highlight that if you want to broadcast to multiple platforms, you have to have a streaming software that connects the source to the streaming platform. Otherwise, you're not able to achieve that very effectively and easily and scalable in a scalable manner. And so once you selected your streaming software, the streaming platforms of choice, in this case, this example talks about, you use YouTube Live and Facebook Live and Vimeo Live at the same time. And the last piece here is you take one of those links, we support all three of them, and you plug it into the MobileCause event page, and that's what you share with your audience. So that's kind of a bit more elaborate scenario. And then the most complex scenario you can think about is where exchanging, you have multiple sources and multiple platforms, right? So we talked about, like an hybrid streaming where you have a webcam, which is the live stream, and then a recorded video, right? That maybe is showcasing your sponsors or showcasing your efforts and how you did more good in the world in your cause and advance the cause you're supporting. And you use the streaming software to both toggle and change and transitions between the webcam, which is for the host that talks through the event, and transition into the recorded video during the event, and then back to the host when the video is done. And you want to do overlays on top during when the host talks, maybe because a big donation came in and you want to recognize the donation and share and recognize the donor as well. And then you connect to all three of the streaming platforms talked about, and as we said, you connect that to the MobileCause event page. And that's kind of like the most complex scenario you can think about. And by the way, this is if you think about it, in today's world, in the virtual, when you run virtual events, the beauty of it is you don't have to be co-located, right? You can have a video source that's found in Texas and a video source in California and another one in New York, and they can all talk during the live stream, which is making it a lot more engaging, and you can connect a lot more people at the same time. So I think this opens up, there's hesitation about live streaming and virtual fundraising events, but I think once you get past the tech concerns, you can really get creative and really accomplish a lot of very cool ways to connect with your audience and further your cause. So those are really the from the simple scenario to the most complex scenario you can think about in the world of virtual fundraising events, and those are the different pieces you need for each type of complexity or each level of complexity. So, yeah, sorry, give it a sec. So I think, this slide is talking about perfecting the tech, but I think it's really like Jason mentioned, and I told you, I'm going to echo a lot of the things he brought up. It's perfecting the human factor powering the technology. And it's really, even, I'm driving for 20 years now, or 20 some years now, and every time I go into a new car, it takes me a moment to like get accustomed to where everything is, and then I drive. And I think the technology here, especially if you're new to it, you need to take a bit of time to get comfortable with it. It's not complex, like I said. It's easy to use, but it's new. And everything new takes a bit of a ramp up and a tiny learning curve. And so in order to overcome that part, obviously you want to schedule a dry run. You want to set up and practice all the equipment and technology, and making sure if you have multiple speakers at different locations, you want to make sure that you do a dry run with all of them and you can hear them and you can see the sound level is good, and you want to practice the transitions into different videos and different screens. And if you have overlays, you want to practice that the overlay goes as you expected it. And when you have the other pieces to it, like text to donate capabilities or donation forms, you want to make sure they're working as expected, especially, by the way, and I think this is the most critical part, you don't want to have any problems with accepting donations during the event. So you want to test that really thoroughly, that part, especially that you can accept donations at volume and at scale, and there are no problems with that. So the important thing that I want to highlight here is you definitely want to practice everything and get comfortable with it. And like Jason said, and even when I am doing that, and I just go and I live stream to Facebook, and I do it in private post, and then only I can see that, and there's no concern about someone else seeing that and feeling embarrassed about those things. So take the time and perfecting the tech and the human factor, which is you, in operating that. The other thing you might want to consider is if you have a host and you're toggling between videos and different sources and overlays, you might want to think about having someone dedicated to running the streaming software we talked about, so that someone that's really comfortable with it, and you don't need to worry about it as you run the event itself. Those are just quick tips on how to ramp up, get comfortable, and use it. Again, I just want to really emphasize those tools are really, the products today are really built for the individual that doesn't need a lot of ramp up. The technology is very fascinating and complex, but the use of it is very easy. So don't be afraid to take the leap and just go for it. And there are really great resources out there for any of the tools we talked about today that help you ramp up if you have those questions. Now, a few tips on the events and the tools to use. I think it's important to know that when you start running those events, it's really, it's not just about what you want to tell the audience. I think there's a lot on how the audience feels when they're doing the event. And you want to make sure that you keep them, you give them the feeling they're involved and engaged and they're part of the event and not just passive viewers. I think there's a lot of that when you started. And there's different ways to accomplish that. And in MobileCause, during using our event page, you can see an example on the left-hand side. There's different ways of doing that. First of all, we talk about the event page where all the important event details is in one convenient place that they can scroll through the event and learn more about your cause and your programs, look at the sponsors, and so on. So that's one way of keeping engaged. You provide them more information they can browse while they're viewing the event. Obviously, the text to donate, where you allow them to text and give very easily from anywhere, anytime, from any device. And another way of accomplishing this kind of level of engagement is through a progress bar and what we call the donor and activity wall, where what's happening in real time is being displayed and shared with your audience so they can see and feel the progress, and you can encourage them. You know, I think there's a lot to say about when you recognize donors and big donations to help push through and achieve your goals, and when people know that you need more support and you're very close to your goal and they see that and they feel that they're more inclined to give. So you really want to combine all those pieces and elements together to create this engaging event for your audience. By the way, one thing I did want to mention on the previous slide, and I think it's also relevant here, when you're thinking about engaging and practicing, right? I think even for me, when I talk to our customers and I do webinars and so on, it took me a while to just move to a world where I talk to the computer and not see the faces and get immediate feedback from the audience on how I'm doing. And that thing takes a bit of time. And like you heard Jason, you need to smile and I think you need to be more animated so that you're not just a talking static head. And so there's a lot of things that go into that, and I just wanted to highlight that part. So this is what we have today, and since I'm the Director of Product and MobileCause, I also want to share with you a few of the things, the exciting enhancements we're working to create a even more engaging event and to really hone down and help you conduct a successful and record-breaking virtual fundraising event. And a couple of those things that I wanted to share with you today and give you a sneak peek, once the sliding move, is first of all is comments. So we have the activity wall, which allows to showcase the flow of coming gifts and support to the event. But also we want to add this ability to comment where your audience can comment back to you in real time. And, you know, hey, Edwin McCain, like the example you're seeing, we love you. Thanks for showing and supporting this cause, or saying something to the host and posting it to them, right? And you can then respond to them in real life and create this two-way communication, two-way engaging conversation and event. So that's coming very soon. And I think the second part is where today, when you use those streaming platforms, once you go live, anyone with the link can see those. And we saw the need for nonprofits to kind of put the event behind a registration wall, in a sense where only people that register to the event and have a ticket and checked in can see the video and the live stream, and it's not open to everyone, where we see some people want to have very tight control of who can see the event and maybe create a more exclusive event. Yeah, and so those are the two things we're working on, and I'm really excited to share that we're working on, and hopefully we'll share that with you soon in MobileCause. And I think that's wrapping up my part of the presentation. So back to you, Scott.
All right, thank you, Guy. Yeah, that's some great information that I know has helped a lot of people to more easily understand live streaming. So I want to thank you both, Jason and Guy, for sharing your insights and expertise with us today. And we hope everyone here is feeling more comfortable to begin incorporating these tech strategies into your own virtual fundraising events so that you can achieve tremendous results. Now, before we go ahead and jump into our Q&A. I do want to ask another quick poll here. I just want to get your feelings on this. Are you interested in learning more? So let me go ahead and launch that poll. And again, it takes a second or two for it to load. So I would love to know, if you're interested to learn more about virtual events with MobileCause, if you're interested in more information on the MobileCause software, or would you be interested in one-on-one consultation with MobileCause? So looks like the poll is now open. So let's get some responses in there. All right, looks like we're slowing down. All right, I'll go ahead and close that poll up. All right, so with that, let's get into our Q&A, where we going to answer some of the important questions you sent us about fundraising and virtual events. So again, please feel free to submit any others as we go along. So all right, first question for Jason. Did you stream to the MobileCause event page at the same time as YouTube and Facebook?
Oh, that's a great question. So we were using the Restream software that I mentioned earlier to send a signal to Facebook, YouTube, and also basically it was our YouTube signal that was being used on the event page at the time. So we were using the YouTube signal to be live on the crowdfunding page / event page that we were using. So yes, it was live to all three at the same time, and all of them had a link to hopefully send them to the donation page on all of those at the same time. So it was a pretty great setup.
Okay, great. Actually got another couple of questions for you. Is how many staff members worked on the campaign with you?
Oh, great. Yeah, absolutely. So as you saw earlier, there was a slide of myself and my development partner there, Peter Lane, the director of development. It was literally the two of us that handled 100% of content creation. Obviously, MobileCause was a fantastic partner in helping us set up some of the technology with the crowdfunding page, as well as getting the video on there. But as far as content creation, running the actual live events, it was just the two of us. I was doing most of the quote unquote production, I guess, while also being live, and Peter was also live at the same time. So it was just the two of us. It was a long week and a very long day and a half for our day of giving for 1,890 minutes, but it was absolutely worth it, and it really was not too much to handle.
That's great. Okay, got one for Guy. The question comes in, why do you prefer YouTube Live?
Oh, that's a great question. I think there's two pieces to it. One is just the personal user experience. When I was working with both Facebook and YouTube to go live, for me it was a lot easier and more straightforward to go live with YouTube. So I really like their ease of use and setting it up and helping me get to the live stream. I do want to point out, by the way, if you're not aware, the only thing that you need to be aware with the with YouTube is that there is a 24-hour period from the moment you're asking to be able to go live until they approve you, and then your YouTube account can go live at any time. So just be mindful of that. Facebook does not have that limitation, but even with that still in mind, I felt it was a much easier and simpler setup process. The other part to that is kind of when we're working with supporting multiple streaming platforms with MobileCause, YouTube really allows us more control over the integration, and they allow us to do more things with the YouTube feed than Facebook allows us to do, both on mobile and on desktop. And that's another reason why I kind of like them, to be honest with you.
All right, great. All right, next question is for Jason. What content did you include in your stream, and how did you incorporate the solicitation requests with your content?
Oh, that is the question, isn't it? That's a really good one. We actually had a lot of content. We were really driving the Day of Giving. Ours is in mid-October. In fact, we're kind of gearing up for our next one here this October. But we started sending out solicitation requests. We officially kind of we did a launch about 30 days out, saying that we were going to start counting all gifts for the Day of Giving from that day until the end of our 1890 minutes on October 13th. And so we sent out a number of requests of solicitations, excuse me, via email primarily. We did send out. We had our newsletter go out just before that, so we had a notice in that to make sure you tuned in. And not everything was a hard ask. We did a lot of soft asks in that we did interviews with people, and we didn't say this is our executive director, or this is one of our board members, or this is someone that's been impacted by our by your donations. We did a lot of interviews with those that are affected positively by our by the work that we do. And so a lot of that is just telling stories. You have to tell the impact. And so we really try to push that by saying, these are the people behind this. These are the people that are our board of directors. These are people that are impacted by the scholarship dollars that you give and the leadership development training dollars that you give. And really, we just tried to drive that home. So solicitation was rampant throughout. So every live video, which was either an interview or just kind of talking and giving updates on our progress and challenges and things like that, were all included. And everything was basically an ask whether we said the words or not, really. When you do a good job of setting that up, which just means communicate clearly about what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and why you're trying to do it, then it should be successful for you.
That's great. I like that there. All right. So our next question here is for Guy. How do you stream privately to a private audience that has paid prior to the event?
That's a really good question. As far as I'm aware, and I've done the research, the way you can do it today is it's not a scalable solution. It's not a good solution, but it's a way you can do it. Is, for example, if you're on Facebook, you create a group, you add all the people you want to that group, and you post the link to that group, and that makes that and you share the post or the live stream to that group only, right? That's one way of doing that. And since there is not really a good way of doing that today, we at MobileCause are actively working to allow you to use our ticketing module to sell tickets, or or use a free ticket, and only those people with a ticket that will check in will be able to see that. So we are aware of that need in the space, and we haven't seen a good solution for that, and we're actively working to help you be able to do that effectively. It's scalable and ease of use.
All right, great. And with that, that looks like we've come to the conclusion of our Q&A. So before we leave, if you're interested in discovering how MobileCause can help maximize your fundraising efforts so you can raise more with less time and effort, or if you'd like to schedule a personalized one-on-one demo to see how MobileCause can help grow your nonprofit, please fill out our post-webinar survey. So again, thank you for attending today. Thank you to our presenters, and best of luck in all of your fundraising efforts. We really look forward to seeing you again at next month's live webinar. So stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.